What is up, everybody? You're listening to an all-new episode of the Christian Gray Snow Show, a podcast from Hurrdat Media. I am your host, Christian Gray Snow. Happy Friday. Today, we have a whole lot to cover, actually, okay? I just talked to y'all a week ago, but a lot has gone down since then. Plus, I'm joined by the face behind Bravo and Blaze, Jenny Blaze. Everybody, please welcome my friend, Jenny.
Hi, baby gorgeous.
Hey, what's up? And guess what? Speaking of baby gorgeous, we're not going to be like the Salt Lake City producers and cut out any of the good shit, okay? We're going to talk about it all. But before we get started, I'm so glad we get to do this today. And I wanted to ask you, because obviously you have such a unique, like we all have to have our personal spins on, us Bravo content creators. We all have our personal spins on this content and this world that we're all a part of. Mine is messy memes and yours is focused on like cannabis and stuff. So I just want to ask, like, how did you get into this and what was the inspiration for you taking this journey?
Honestly, I actually just started pulling together pictures from over the last 2 years, and it all started. I used to be a former corporate IT consultant, and I was running like 8-9 figure businesses when I left for maternity leave. And I just knew I didn't want to go back. And I was like in this, COVID happened. I had 2 babies and I have an older child and a older stepchild. So I couldn't even really work anyways. There was too much on my plate. So momming was a big thing that took over my life, but also I am a cannabis advocate. I was at a point in my life where I was taking a lot of pharmaceutical medication to take care of my depression and my anxiety and, all these things. And I'm like, this is like a cycle. So one of my friends was reminded me that people use weed for medicinal purposes too. And I was like, oh yeah. Cause for me, it had always been like a recreational thing, not something that I was like, I'm still not really into being a recreational user. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but for me, I was like, what is it like to be a medicinal cannabis consumer? And so over a period of 6 to 9 months, I was able to get off of all of my medication by microdosing.
Wow.
Meaning, and we've seen this on Orange County, right?
Yeah.
With Heather Dubrow and Shannon, which I don't believe that they were even microdosing in a medicinal way or a recreational way. I really don't know what they were doing, but I always cheer for any moment that cannabis has.
Yes.
On Housewives or Bravo, anywhere. So I was like, all right, whatever. But anyways, I remember during that time, it was COVID. I had no interaction with anyone who was an adult. So I turned to, my first love, which is reality TV. Reality TV and true crime. That's what I love. And I didn't even know that there was this community of people online. So I started with a Twitter account, and I really wanted to break the stigma of a mom who is a cannabis consumer, because when I got off of my medication, I was microdosing, but then I got pregnant. And when I went to go confirm my pregnancy, my doctor threatened to call Child Protective Services on me because of the THC in my system. And Jesus. I was like, no, wait, you don't understand. She's like, no discussion. This is it. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to look into this. And that's when things were I was like, oh, hell no. No.
Wow.
One, there's rights being violated. There's women who are being harassed around our country. People's children are getting taken away for weed when they're it's actually cheaper for them to just smoke weed than go get pharmaceuticals because our health insurance is so awful, So, and the whole origin of prohibition stems from systemic racism. And I was like, oh my God, when I found that out, I was like, this is it. I knew I had to dedicate my life to it, but I didn't know really how, being a mom, I have my phone and my kids, what can I do? I got a TV playing in the background, and I just immersed myself in tweeting, turned into meme making, turned into merch, novelty merch making. And then I started the podcast Bravo and Blaze last year, the first Friday of January 2022.
Oh, wow. So you're like just a year old. Happy birthday.
Yeah, actually, oh my gosh, I didn't even think of it that way.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really like thinking anything was going to happen, but within 4 months, Bravo and Blaze reached number 8 in the top 100 indie TV reviews charts. And I was like,
Wow.
I remember getting the email and I was like, what is this? I thought it was like some kind of advertisement. And I was like, okay. But then then I was like, whoa, wait a second. And that's when everything like really spiraled. I got to interview Redman. Do you know Redman?
Yes.
You know, hip hop, 90s hip hop?
Of course. Yeah. That's incredible.
Wu-Tang Clan. I got to interview him. I never in a million years would have thought I would have been able to go interview. I didn't even think I could take a picture with Redman, let alone get an interview. And get this, I messed up. The whole first recording was gone.
Oh, God.
I had like some bunk, just like beat up old cheap one of those USB mics that you plug into your phone, but it's like not compatible, even though it says it's compatible.
Yeah.
I was mortified and I was like, thank you. I'm sorry. He was like, no, let's do it again. I was like, what?
Wow. That's amazing. Well, if you could smoke with any housewife, just one, who would it be?
A housewife?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm thinking Vicky right now because
yes!
I love her.
I think that Vicky doing gummies or something on TV would be fucking hysterical. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Well,
I would love if someone could convince her to do that.
I'd be a little nervous that she might call an ambulance or something.
She definitely would. She'd be like, no, you don't understand. I'm absolutely going into cardiac arrest.
I'm dead right now.
Yeah, it's different than what everyone else is feeling, has ever felt. I am dying. All right, well, before we get into all the housewives stuff, I also do like to start with a random housewives icebreaker question. Even though I just asked you who you'd smoke with, I still wanted to ask this anyway. I love to ask this question. Who is the most overrated Real Housewife of all time, do you think?
Right now, Heather Gay.
They can be dead or alive, as I say, so that can mean current or former. But you can go with Heather Gay. Heather
Gay is just like on my mind right now.
I get that.
Of all time, I want to think like Real Housewives of New York, but like none of them are overrated.
No. Well, Bethany, in my opinion, but
this is so hard. Anyone from Beverly Hills? I'm sorry, I said it. I hate that franchise.
Okay, well, speaking of Beverly Hills, last week when I was recording, literally as I was recording, my phone started blowing up. I started seeing texts on my computer, and it was because Rinna had announced that she was out for season 13 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Diana is also out. No one's caring about that. Let's be honest, not trying to be mean, just keeping it 100. Rinna is out, though. She claimed it was a mutual decision. I don't care what anyone says. I don't believe that shit for a fucking second. Andy is saying, he's like, I hope she comes back, you know, It's like Andy also fired Vicky and Tamra and then said that it wasn't the last we would see of them. So, I mean, like, there are decisions. And, you know, as someone who was very, very upset when Vicky was let go, I now understand that there were probably years of plans and strategy that obviously we had no idea about. We had no idea Peacock was coming down the pipeline, you know, things like that. And so I think that listen, I know that a lot of people are upset, but for Andy to say that, I think he's trying to just say, give it a hot second. We have a plan. Everything's going to work out, you know. But I wanted to see, what do you think? What are your reactions on Rinna's departure? And a lot of people think that it's going to be like the next Tamra, is like, you know, so whenever Tamra and Vicky left, like things just the ship sank. Do you think it's going to be that way without Rinna?
Ooh, like I said, I already hate Beverly Hills, so. I don't see it getting any better, but it also can't get any worse. But then I say that, and then it keeps getting worse. So who knows? As far as Lisa Rinna goes, though, I do have to say that like I said, I never really watched. Well, I hate it, but I also never really watched because I was triggered after season 1. The whole Taylor Armstrong thing was too much for me. And I'm like, I forgot about it after this has been on for how many years now? Like 10 years went by and I just started watching it again. And because Taylor was gone, but I'm like, I don't like this franchise.
Wow.
And I never watched Lisa Rinna, but then I never talked about her before on my I may have used a clip in a meme or something, but never like, I try not to like attack a Bravo Leb. I don't know them, obviously. And that's rude. Like, we don't want to do that. But I found out she blocked me. I've never talked to this woman in my life. And I know it was probably that she like was going through a moment where she was like blocking everyone. She probably saw Bravo in my handle, which is disturbing to me because I think that's taking it too far. If you feel the need to block someone you don't know just because their name has Bravo in it, like that means you might be a little unstable. And like out of concern, I think this is the best decision for everyone, whether she wanted to or not. Like, I almost feel like she would have done another season, but I don't think she really wants to. I don't think she's in the right headspace.
I mean, also, and I think that she exhausts herself more outside of filming than she does during filming, you know, and that really shouldn't be the case for Housewives. Like, I understand that it's a tough job. People don't understand that there's a lot of emotions and stuff involved. Yeah. And I understand also that a great deal of the stress comes from watching it all back after the fact. But Rinna was her own worst enemy because the social media antics were 24/7. It was like, can someone give this woman a hobby? You know, like, can her phone die? Please, for the love of fucking God. And so, and it was like, you know, when we're more exhausted by you outside of filming than what's going on our TVs, that is a problem for me, you know, and I think has to be a problem for the network because they were constantly putting out fires, and it's like, we can't be dealing with this shit, you know?
Yeah. And I talk about this a lot because I feel like if Bravo just modeled their guidelines and protocol after like the WWE, I feel like everyone would be in a healthier environment. Like, we would know what is off limits. Like, you would know, like, okay, no children. Like, if you are caught getting bots, you're fired. Like, just make it clear cut. And also, like, there's certain things, if you look at how, what's his name? Steve McMahon? Is that the right?
Oh, yeah. The guy that was like the CEO or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy, whoever runs it, like, he has a whole like methodology, if you will, and how he delivers WWE performances. He has different brands. He has different like Monday Night Raw. And then like, I don't know, there's even an NXT where you like prepare to get to the next level, to be pro on WWE. Like, there's a career path. There's an HR team. Wow. Actually, I think that's the missing piece here.
Yeah. I know that Bravo has an HR, but we need a Housewives specific HR department, I think.
Seriously. There's like, oh gosh.
I love it. Well, up next, we were also gifted this week with the most incredible news, which, as if anyone's listening to this, and obviously Jenny said, anyone knows my queen, Vicky Gumbelson, that's my bitch. She is back for another season of Ex-Wives Club. It was a lot of news all at once that, you know, the fact that they were even confirming the season forecast, the fact that they were telling us it was in Morocco, the fact that they were telling us it was an Ex-Wives Club, and that they were bringing back 4 familiar faces. Plus, she is going to be joined by Gretchen Rossi. I have chills talking about it. Like, this is going to be so good. Gretchen Rossi, Neil Grammer. Oh, let's go. Brandy Glanville, Caroline Manzo, Phaedra Parks, Eva Marcel, and Alex fucking McCord. They start filming next week. Talk to me. Thoughts on the cast.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Most important thing for me is I demand to know how many languages Francois and Johan can speak. I need to know, and I need to hear a little bit of it. Yeah. I need confirmation. I can't hear like, oh, they speak like no, I want to see it.
Yeah. And you know how it shows them all like at their houses packing their bags and stuff? If we don't get detailed scenes with Simon and the boys, I am suing Peacock. Absolutely.
Yeah, seriously, we need like a full like whole thing with Simon alone.
I mean, the fact that she lives in Australia is just like, is she the only housewife to ever like move abroad? I guess so.
I die if she has an Australian accent.
Yo, I will faint. And also too, and then the best part is that she's clearly still in the game in her head because she did the Louis Vuitton shoe post. Where and I was like, oh, she's ready to come and she's ready to play. Oh, I have chills again. Oh,
yeah,
I love it.
Gonna be good.
Okay.
I'm most excited for her return, to be honest.
Absolutely. Just because who would have thought, and then, I mean, also bless her heart. I hope that I worry about I love Brandy, but Brandy can be rough. And I'm like, God, Alex is just getting thrown right back into the fire. Isn't she?
Yeah. Well, so somebody posted like the cast and I saw it for the first time. So I commented and I said, not so-and-so. I'm not going to say the name. And I just did like a emoji.
Yeah.
And that person, this is not on my account. This is someone else's account.
Mm-hmm.
That person that I was talking about, so someone on that cast, messaged me and was like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I wish you nothing but the best. And I was like, I am scared right now.
I was like, well, you didn't have to do all that. Some of these people have a lot of time. Let me tell you, I've posted memes and not tagged housewives or anything that, and they'll message me and they put like a sad face. And I'm like, it's all for I don't mean,
it's kind of like you sign up for that. And I try to be as nice as possible.
Yes.
I mean, if you record me all day, anyone all day, you're going to get funny stuff. And I am very aware of how editing works. So you can make anything look funny if you are creative enough.
Yeah, very true. Well, what's something that's funny about getting this Ultimate Girls Trip cast is that obviously we haven't seen season 3 yet. And we got the trailer at BravoCon. That's where you and I got to meet for the first time. Best three. I say, despite the anxiety attacks I was riddled with for 33 days, it was the best 3 days of my entire life. Yeah, I mean, I think you and I saw each other in passing, and we were like, it's really rough out here. And you can't get it unless you were there. I can't even explain it, and I don't know. I was just like, I'm losing control. I'm losing control of how I feel.
I walked out after I saw you because I was like, this is too much for me. I have to smoke weed. Like, I really had to leave, remove myself. It was like too much stimulation. And then I'm like smoking, like, oh my God, I hope no one sees me. And like, I go on Twitter and I see your tweet. I'm outside. I'm having
a meltdown. But I've said a few times, like, there were so many people I saw or talked to that weekend or after that were like, yo, there were people that bought 3-day tickets and couldn't even go all 3 days because they were just like, it's like a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I wanted to ask, so we saw the trailer for season 3 at BravoCon. It's been pretty much silence and crickets on season 3 since then.
Honestly, I don't even remember it.
I have it on my Instagram. I'll send you it. Are you more excited for season 3 or season 4?
I'm just so excited for Alex. Like, I don't even care about season 3 anymore. Also, the rumor of Leah allegedly throwing poo makes me feel grossed out. I don't like that. I don't want to see that.
Pass all the fucking way on that. Okay.
I want luxury, right?
Exactly. And nothing to do with Leah is luxury. Okay. All right. Speaking of also not having luxury, this season of Salt Lake City was not fucking luxury. It was only 14 episodes, but it felt like a goddamn 3-year trek. We saw the finale this week. It was pretty dreadful, almost like getting a black eye. But before we get into the finale, what have been your overall thoughts on season 3? I know you said Heather Gay is kind of chapping your ass right now.
Well, so I did an interview with Murillo Bueno, who is maybe currently still Jen Shah's assistant. I don't even know. But he also was Heather Gay's former bestie / employee at Beauty Lab / personal assistant / family friend. And we recorded back in April, and it was like at the end of their filming season 3. So... And what he told me, or we recorded it, you can go watch, it's on my YouTube, but I was like, holy crap, this like makes me look at Heather in such a completely different way. And then now seeing season 3, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is who she is. And I think there's even more to Heather Gay.
Buckle up whenever we do get Ultimate Girls Trip 3.
Oh, and Whitney's there too, right?
I've heard we see a lot more of the true Gay, the true Mrs. Gay. We'll see. But she's had a pretty hard fall from grace. this season, you know, because you remember at BravoCon that she got this like standing ovation and was like crying. Do you remember that? I was like, I don't see Vicky Gunvalson on the stage. What are y'all clapping for?
I only went to one panel because I couldn't take it. It was like too much.
I made it to, I think, 3. Yeah, so I feel you.
Salt Lake City was the only one I was like, all right, I will actually be brave and go. Mm-hmm. And I left early because I was like, number one, there's only 4 women up here. This is lame. And not that those 4 women are lame. Well, Heather is, but it didn't feel like, I've never had a housewife moment with only 4 housewives and felt like that was like anything really significant. So I was disappointed with that. But then also I just knew that Heather Gay was how she is. And I was like, ew, boo, you know, like, why are you all cheering right now? But then I'm like, they don't know.
They about to figure it out.
Now you know.
I would love to do a check-in with everybody that was on their feet in that room.
Oh my gosh. Literally, I would ask people, I'm like, why do you like Heather Gay? Please, I would love to be convinced, but
what would they say?
Exactly.
All right. Well, so we're going to get into the Salt Lake City finale. Unfortunately, the finale, it was such a disjointed, weird, rushed. It was the weirdest finale I've ever seen in my life. Number one, they did it at an apartment complex. I said this, on a previous episode, that this is the apartment complex where production stays when they are in town for Salt Lake City. And they hosted the finale party like in the clubhouse, like common area. And this is also, when you go back, there are a couple episodes like before San Diego, and Jen and Angie K are in the like heated pool situation. This is the same building. So I'm just like, that's all. I couldn't get past that at the moment that it started. I was like, God damn it.
That heated pool moment was there? Oh
yes.
My gosh.
Yes. It's all this apartment complex called like Hardware or something like that. So we'll never get over that, but they're in there arguing. Jen is having a conversation, I think it was with Whitney, and then Angie K rolls up and just like interrupts the entire conversation because she has heard that Jen Shah is telling everyone Angie, is why Heather has the black eye. And she's like, you know what? If she wants to go out here and talk about why she has the black eye, let's throw out the Barbie scissor kicks theory. And everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so thoughts on Angie K, and then also thoughts on all the friends, both Angie's and Dana. Do you want them all back? You want none of them back? What are you thinking?
I think, you know what? I feel like Angie K was definitely working to earn a spot, but I feel like she did earn it. Mm-hmm. Like, I give her credit, she put in the work.
I agree.
So I would say give her a role for next season. Dana, I'm not quite sure. I feel like they had intentions with Dana, but like it didn't come into fruition. And I don't know. It was just like, I want to see another season just to give her another chance because I think she does have stuff to deliver. And I really hate that they cut out that slam dunk moment.
What the actual fuck? When that was the actual highlight of the entire trailer that we got, 4 months ago?
That gave me chills down my whole body for a week.
And we didn't know until like the mid-season trailer or whatever that it was like, okay, this shit's not coming till the fucking end, and then they cut it. And then there was also like a fight between Meredith and Whitney that got cut, where they were talking about like, you're the one to blame. And I'm like, we needed that. To be honest, there was all the New York footage I appreciate, but unless they got footage of her after the fact and her telling her mama, hi, I'm a fucking liar, then I don't care.
I agree. And honestly, I have like a love-hatred with Salt Lake City. Like when Salt Lake City came out, I kind of got revived again into Housewives. Like it was kind of getting a little stale for me. And Salt Lake City brought this like new dimension, new layer, new dynamic because of the religion aspect, and like bring Mary Cosby in. Like,
and we were in a snow city. It was the first time we'd ever had a backdrop of mountains and snow. It was a completely different vibe.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I was like so here, like ride or die from the day one. But then I remember before it even started, I Googled Mary Cosby and I was like, horrified.
Yeah.
Like they haven't even talked about it on the show. And I'm like, why isn't anyone talking about the fact that Mary Cosby's grandmother's, I think her grandmother's body was exhumed because there were suspicions that her step granddaddy that she married
killed her.
I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble.
For life insurance money. Yeah. Listen, and like I love Mary, but that's a good ass storyline if you ask me.
Well, this is where I'm like, okay, they had to have known, and that's where it feels icky for me. And that's why I say, like, I have a love-hate relationship with it. I'm like, I feel wrong. Like, I met Jen Shah at BravoCon. I was there when she crashed the party. And actually, thank God she did, because I was sobbing to Chanel Ian because I was on shrooms. And I was having a moment. I'm like, I love you. And like thinking about her story. I was like, oh my gosh, I have children and love.
Bless her heart.
And then right then, by the grace of Mary Cosby, Jen Shah walks in. They like lock eyes. They're like, start dancing. I'm just like in tears. Like I somehow locked eyes with Jen Shah, put my arm out, and then her Gucci fur was thrown over my arm. And I'm like, is this real?
Incredible.
Literally, is this real? I don't know. And it's just, I'm like, again, this is going back to BravoCon. I'm all flustered because I can't believe any of this happened.
Me either. And I'm like, it's still exhausted, but also ready for next year. Like, can y'all go ahead and start selling tickets?
Please. Yes. I'm saving already.
Yes. But so Angie, you know, after her Barbie thing and she rolled up on the conversation with Jen and Whitney, she's kind of set off a bomb to Jen and Coach, because she's like, your wife becomes very bully-like, you know, when you're not around. And I was like, that's brave to say to someone.
Yeah, you know? He kind of dismissed her, right?
Yes. And then Angie, well, I think he dismissed her because she gave them an out with the whole, you know, was it even real? The like a suicide attempt thing. But I also don't know that she was saying, was your attempt real? I think she's saying like, is what you're blaming it on, and like the stresses of this group and us asking you things and holding you accountable. Is that really what drove you to that point to feel that way? You know?
Yeah, that's what I took from it. But that's Jen's MO, right? Like take something and just
and then leave, because that's exactly what she did. She left, you know? Well, and then 20 minutes into the episode, 28 fucking minutes, we get the traditional finale credits for everyone except Jen. I was very confused. I was on Twitter at the time and everyone's like, what is happening? The party, you know, like it felt very short, because normally it's like the last thing we see, you know, or the ending credits. I was like, what is going on? And then, as we already discussed, they cut the scene of Dana versus Jen, which is fucking bullshit. But I'm saying all this to say, it's like, you know, they rush through this and then they get to New York to dedicate the second half of the finale to her trial. But it's confusing to me because, you know, for them to cut the Dana stuff and it's like they want to just get the Jen shit past them and like move on. But then it's like, but y'all went and fucking dedicated the second half of the episode to her and y'all could have edited out half that shit. So.
Yep. And also, well, still, I mean, obviously.
I'm confused.
There's been so many updates. As a producer, I don't even know how you would keep up with it. It's like, wait, this is going to air at this time. So we need to like, it's wild. I can't believe this is even happening. Like, I'm just watching in horror. Like, what?
I think the network, I think it's safe to say though, they're like very eager to like get the ball rolling and be like, let's just get this shit behind us, you know? And part of me was like, they need a hard reset like Beverly Hills, but it's like, no, the longer we sit and think about this last season we have, the worse it's going to be. So I think they need to just give us something else.
Let's like pause and reflect. Like, where did we go wrong? Like, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should do more background checks. Maybe we should be like WWE, have hard, solid rules and just say, if you are accused of fraud or somehow connected in a fraud scheme that is currently in progress, you cannot be a housewife.
It's out. You're bye. Exactly.
Yeah. Like that's very specific, but maybe that's what the level we need to go to at this point. I don't know.
I wanted to also get your opinion because before we see Jen leave for New York, there's this scene of her and her mother, sitting outside their house. And Jen says, when I come home, I either will be guilty or innocent. And her poor mom is like, well, you're going to be innocent, honey. We know that. And it's like, and then, so that, then we're reminded through flashbacks that her poor mom gave up her retirement. She sold properties that she's owned to help Jen, I guess, cover legal funds. I don't know. I feel like Jen deserves fucking life for this alone, not, to hurt your mom that way, but then not even considering strangers, but then I don't know. But what I wanted to ask is what was going through her head in that moment? Was she lying to herself? Did she believe that she was actually innocent? How can you sit there and have your mom tell you that shit on camera and you keep a straight face?
I know. I don't know. I posted something today giving a summary of my thoughts on each woman and how I feel. And for Jen Shah, I said, she's so entertaining. And I met her. So she's always been nice to me. And even before I met her in person, we had some interaction. And I used to be diehard for Jen Shah before she was accused. And then I was like, ugh. So I said, Jen Shah is entertaining, but I think there should be some psychological studies done on her.
Okay. I think that answers my question perfectly. Yes. Because I'm sitting here saying how? How?
Yeah,
how is it? And you're like, we haven't found the answers yet, but she's a good one to study to find it out because that is some fucked up shit.
So fucked up.
Okay. Well, then also, so we get to New York, we see a sit down with Meredith, Heather, and Seth, where they're talking about. Heather brings up, that there is a list of witnesses that both Coach and Jen have, been able to see, people that are going to be talking against, speaking against Jen in their trial. And also, this was a really big moment to be reminded that Coach is a lawyer. I was like, or was a lawyer. I was like,
Yeah, I feel weird about Coach Shah after last night.
Oh, explain.
The thing with Angie, how he was kind of dismissive and then also kind of enabled Jen when she had that twisted things and stormed off. He kind of enabled that. And I was like, then watching or hearing Jen say, oh, Coach has been, or no, Meredith said it, I think, or maybe Heather, that he's been reading every single thing.
Heather said he's been
and that he's a lawyer.
Everything. Yes.
Then
what? Yeah, okay, and then so we see Jen. Sorry, I just got a weird text. So then we see Jen eventually blame everything on Stuart, saying that she had no idea, basically, what he was doing behind her back, and that he threw her under the bus to get a lesser sentence. And I'm embarrassed to even ask this, but there's no way that's true, right? There's no way she was actually just blindsided.
Oh, yeah. No, so I want to see the date of everything because I remember the Hulu documentary came out and then the very next day, Stuart's lawyers changed their plea to guilty.
Oh, shit.
They were going not guilty before it came out and then they were guilty. So then from there was a period of time, maybe it had to have been a few weeks at least, but maybe months. And then I remember there was news that Stuart was throwing Jen under the bus. So that date, we need all the Bravo internet sleuths find that date and then find the date of filming where Jen said that, which is obviously before the pretrial hearing where we know she pleads guilty. So we could do the math and figure it out and we'll know. Because I do want to know if okay, wait, does she know at this point? Is this acting? She needs to be studied.
Because we're sitting here saying, how can you tell your mom with a straight face that you knew nothing? And to me, the only way you can do that is if you really didn't know anything. But, but it's there's no, but also too, she said that she was going to fight it till the end. And then we also see, after she pleads guilty, Heather goes back to Salt Lake City. She meets with Lisa over lunch and she's basically just saying,
all about?
And she's already throwing Jen under the bus. Did you see that? She's like, yeah, like he must have just, seen how bad it was and and he's hanging on by and then in the reunion clip, she talks about them hanging on by a thread. I'm like, the moment she got that guilty conviction, Heather was like, well, let me go ahead and start protecting my paychecks for next season.
Yeah. But did you know that BravoCon that night when Jen Shah crashed, she put her luggage in Heather's room and then she left and like went to Tamara's room. I saw her at the Gansevoort rooftop bar. I took a picture with her.
Wow.
But then later or the next day, apparently someone posted that she was sleeping in a bunk bed because Heather locked her out and like wouldn't let her sleep in her room. And I was there when Jen Shah and Andy were talking.
Yes.
And Heather was there before Jen Shah crashed, and then Heather kind of disappeared. That whole crew kind of disappeared.
It's because Heather had her ass come and then realized it wasn't well received and then backed up. And then back to the phony shit about Heather Gay that we were talking about earlier. I don't think she's a bad person, but there is a lot. Somehow she has gotten this rep as being the funny, like, cool girl from Salt Lake. And I don't think that is the case. And I think you saw a bit of it in person with that situation. And then I think again, from what I've heard, Ultimate Girls Trip 3 is going to seal the deal as well. But to wrap up, we're going to do what we always do, which is going to put 60 seconds on the clock and see how many of these somewhat fun, but mostly shady Real Housewives questions you can get in our rapid fire Housewives questions game. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Favorite housewife of all time. Go.
Oh my gosh. So Luann de Lesseps.
Oh, good one. If you could sleep with any house husband, who would it be?
I'll just say Mauricio because he's a stoner apparently.
Weed and sex with Mauricio sounds like a good night to me. Bravo Leb, you met at BravoCon. That was the biggest letdown.
Ooh, letdown? Well, I kind of expected Shep to be a letdown already. And he was.
I love it. Develop a Housewives franchise in any city. Where would you do it?
Oh, somewhere international. South Korea. Seoul, South Korea.
Oh, that would be dope. Fire any current housewife right now. Who would it be?
Oh my gosh. Heather Gay.
I knew it. First housewife that comes to mind when I say the word bitch.
Bethany.
Yes, a former housewife's business you would revive if you could.
Skinny Weed. I think she started a weed brand and nothing came of it.
Actually, what you get high, but you don't get the munchies. Yeah, I love it.
There's a cannabinoid that does that. THCV.
Oh shit. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, last one. Will Coach Shah wait for Jen to get out of prison, or will they divorce?
They will divorce.
Oh. All right, everybody. That was Jenny Blaze from Bravo and Blaze. Jenny, please tell everybody where they can find you when you have new episodes, all that good stuff.
I go live every Thursday on my YouTube channel for Cannabis Mom Boss at 1 p.m. Eastern. I go live on Fridays for Bravo and Blaze at 12 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. I'm on all social media, Instagram, Twitter, I don't know, Pinterest, TikTok, whatever. Don't Snapchat me. I don't know how to use that app.
I love it.
But the podcast is available on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and now iHeartRadio.
Woo! Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Jenny. Everybody hang tight. All right, everybody. Special thanks to my guest, Jenny Blaze, for joining me this week and recapping everything, all the goodness that came to us this week in the world of Housewives. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And as always, thank you so much for kicking it off with me. I hope you have fun, safe, whoop it up. And yeah, as I always say, don't do anything I wouldn't do, which means you're free to be a crazy slut. Have a good one. Mwah. Besos.